back in July, Chimezie Metu was one of the most puzzling signings for the Suns roster, at least in my opinion. But with his play in preseason, he's proven why he could be a very interesting stretch 5 option for the Suns, who can also play the power forward position alongside our centers, which could be very useful in the regular season and in the playoff rotation. Although that 47% that he shot in the preseason might just be a preseason number, that jump shot looks much better, and I have high hopes for Chimezie Metu as a 3-point shooter, along with the rest of his game improving overall. A little bit of self-created buckets that we saw in the preseason, making a few good passes, blocking shots, getting steals, some good defense in the drop coverage, and let's just start it off looking at some good free throw shooting. And while we take a look at that, this is from the end of the Pistons game where it was overtime and Chimezie Metu ends up getting the inbounds pass and gets fouled. He's got to knock down 2 clutch free throws to put it away. And we're going to take a look at exactly what he does. I mean, spoiler alert, he's going to knock both of them down because that jump shot looks much better. That's just a clean look right there. And he knocked down a bunch of free throws during this preseason. But yeah, thank you all for subscribing us, of course. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe scroll down and hit that button. And if you're enjoying the edited content, maybe hit the like button. But yeah, just look at this man. Really nice jump shot, knocks it down, 2 of 2. And the Suns take the 4-point lead and end up winning this basketball game. But now let's take a look at the 8 threes that Chimezie Metu made during the preseason. First, coming off of a Josh Okogie drive in that right corner, knocking it down. That jump shot is just so pure. That looks like just a normal everyday shooter out there, kind of like Yuta Watanabe out there in the corner. Oh, that is just a beautiful release. It's a pretty decent closeout from maybe Kevin Knox right there. And yeah, fading a little bit to the left as well. I mean, that's just a beautiful release right there. He really likes his shots on the right side, as we'll see in these clips. In this one, actually, yep, he's rotating to that right side, actually ends up going to the left side and knocks it down right there. One of his 2 hits from the left side. I meant to put that at the end. I don't know why it ended up right there. That is my bad. I wanted to put the right side on its own, but yeah, now on a transition, gets a nice walk up, knocks it down. Man, that is just a great looking jump shot in the transition, hitting it. That is, a very encouraging sign to see from Mr. Metu right there. And coming back down, the very next play, he just takes another one. It's a little bit of a heat check, ends up rimming out, but yeah, it's an encouraging sign to see, although it doesn't go in, for him to take this type of initiative on the handoff to just pop it right like that. Star Thompson's pretty late on the closeout, and that's a pretty good shot. He just wasn't loaded up properly, ends up being a miss. Another one, walk up in transition. Great shot right there from the right wing. Again, he's been really knocking it down from the right wing. It's probably going to end up being one of his hot zones during the regular season. And yeah, I believe improperly cut up that clip. But anyways, continuing on, back tap outside. Josh Okogie ends up giving up to Nasir Little. Metu again on the right wing. Gives it up to Nasir Little. Little sucks in number 4, and Metu just knocks it down from 3. I still don't know who number 4 is. I'm recording this on the same night as that Eubanks video. I still don't know who number 4 is on the Nuggets. But Metu is shooting the 3 over him and is knocking it down. Great shot by Metu. And continuing on, we're going to see, I think, another 3-point highlight. Another one from the left side. Watanabe sucks in the defense. Late closeout by, I'm not really sure who that is. Again, I'm sorry. There's just some rookies out there. And yeah, just Watanabe sucks in the defense. This is going to be happening a lot when you got KD and Book and just the great offensive talents of this team. Beal, Allen, Gordon, even Yuta making the pass right here. This shot's going to be open a whole lot. And if Metu can knock it down from the corners, it's a very encouraging sign. That shot looks pure and he knocks it down. Wow. I mean, he looks like one of the better stretch 5 options in the league, considering he's, 6'9". He's got the ability to play the center position. He's played it in San Antonio. He's played it for the Kings at times. And now he's going to have the opportunity to play either the 4 or the 5. And we'll take a look at some of the more offensive utilities he has. But another one from the left wing, knocking it down. Beautiful 3 right there. Yeah, 3 from the left side, 5 from the right side. So yeah, I guess the majority was from the right side. But yeah, a little bit a little bit divided. Here's gonna end up being another 3 after a Chimezie Metu block. Beautiful defense right there against Not Sure again. And right wing, again, a walk-up transition 3. He loves knocking those down, those walk-up transition 3s. And just taking another look at his block after this Lakers highlight. Just stays in front of the smaller guard, stays in front, and blocks the little pull-up jump shot. And in transition, everyone's getting sucked in, really bad communication, and he knocks down the wide open one right there. Great looking 3. That's actually 30 seconds before, I believe, the other 3 from the Pistons games that he did make that I showed. And yeah, just looking at a shot chart from the previous 2 seasons, primarily he likes knocking down those shots in the restricted area, shooting 72% from the field on 37% of his attempts from this area, as we can see listed over here. And from the corner, he only shot 31% from 3 on 9% of his attempts. Above the break, he's only 29% at 24% frequency in this area outside of the corners, but above the 3-point line. So we'll be looking to see if those numbers make a market improvement during this upcoming season. But let's continue on looking at some self-created buckets and looking at some good passing highlights out of Mr. Metu. Right here, takes a good rip inside. The smaller guy, Skylar May, is trying to defend him. That's just too easy. Shoots over the top of him. I mean, that's pretty good defense for Mays. There's not much better he could have done being a small guard. But Metu just cooks right here, taking a little short mid-range. I'm pretty sure he's not getting a lot of those during the regular season, but seeing him knock it down in preseason is at least a little nice touch to see. Another one against number 4. A little nice fadeaway again on that left side. Just knocking it down. I guess he likes that left side again, posting up on the left side against Ausar Thompson. Great move, great footwork, and finishes wide open layup against the smaller Ausar Thompson. He can't guard him, and Killian Hayes trying to guard him, and ends up being a foul by Marcus Sasser because, yeah, there's nothing you can do when you got 2 smalls trying to stop Chimezie Metu. You can't hide a small on him. He's just too good. And that's why he's a really intriguing option at playing the power forward position alongside the rest of the starters, because he can just do things like that on the offensive end when you're trying to put a dude who's just too small to guard him out there. And at the center position, I mean, you're going to be facing some bigger defenders, but using his speed and quickness, or his quickness and agility, is going to be a nice weapon for the team. Another one, a really nice quick rip right there. This is one of my favorite plays out of him. Just sees the defender a little flat-footed, just rips right past him. Defender took a step out, and just he's gone to the rack, and yeah, ends up getting fouled right there, because there was nothing else the Pistons could do. They had to foul. Great offensive look from Metu. I think that's going to lead into our passing highlights out of him, though, as we get a little bit of a look at him just concentrating. Now getting up the ball up top. He's got Duop Reith in front of him, denies the handoff right there. And due to Watanabe, again, as we saw with Drew Eubanks, he just loves making that little cut, faking out to the top like he's going to take the 3, and he's gone. It's just too easy, man. Watanabe's just such a threat from 3, and Sharp gets a little bit lazy right there, and Watanabe is gone. He's taken off to the basket, and he's dunking it. Great pass from Metu. He had another one of those that ended up being a turnover, but, you know, I mean, Metu's trying it. It's a really nice thing to see out of him. Another one, great pass at the corner, kind of a short roll thing. Keita Bates ends up missing it, but it's just a good look from Metu. He sees the defense has been sucked in by this drive. He's got both Hayes and Ivy on him. Wide open shot. That's not Keita Bates' shot. He should be in the right corner, but yeah, it's a great pass. Great job by Metu. He's got a pretty nice passing instinct on top of everything else, and he also shows off the handle a little bit. A little bit of a play initiation, brings the ball up the floor, and right here he sees Grayson Allen driving, cuts inside, pulls in the defender and Reggie Jackson. That's a wide open shot to the corner, Josh Okogie, and he actually knocks it down. But thanks to that cut by Chimezie Metu, ends up drawing in the defender, and there's no one out there to close out to Josh Okogie. Great cut right there, sensing that the space needed to be opened up. Now on ball against Christian Wood, ends up getting the steal. We're going to be showing off some steals and blocks out of him because Metu is also a really nice defensive player. Also showing off that handle a little bit. He's not losing the ball. That's a little bit janky, but at least, you know, pushing this ball up the floor, staying under control, doesn't give it up early to Roy. and then just goes at him and yeah, gives it up. But nice little look at his handle as well on top of his defensive abilities. Again, we're going to see another steal passing off that cutting lane, or let's repeat that one. Cutting off that passing lane right there. Great defense by Jordan Goodwin to force the tough pass by Malcolm Brogdon, and Metu's just sitting there. There's no way that pass is getting through when Metu is just sitting there with his giant wings and takes it away. Pretty nice look from the right wing again. And yeah, Metu, it's encouraging when you're forcing turnovers like this. A drive by Reggie Jackson gets rejected by Chimezie Metu. Great job by Metu right there. Just staying in front on the pick and roll, and yeah, there's nothing much he can do right there. Metu just takes it away. Reggie Jackson didn't have much open, and Metu rejects him into the crowd. Again, I think we're going to see another block out of Metu, just showing off just a really nice defensive ability, staying in front of a smaller dude in Rui Hachimura who likes dribbling the ball, stops that drive, and as much as he probably could have grabbed the board right there for better time jump, just staying in front and, you know, playing some good defense against Hachimura. And, you know, these types of smaller wing types who are going to like to dribble the ball a lot and initiate plays and try to score the ball a little bit, that's a really encouraging sign, because those are the type of players that Metu is going to be guarding. It's either going to be those wing type players or it's going to be bigs. And if you're doing a good job against both types of players, that's a really encouraging sign for being in a contributing defensive role on top of the three-point shooting we saw, and on top of the passing, on top of the driving. And then you add in this defensive ability. It's just really impressive to see. He's got a lot of athletic talents, so yeah, it's just nice to see that he can do stuff like this, stepping out on Christian Wood, stifling the drive, and now it's a Rui Hachimura isolation, ends up missing that one. A tough shot over Keita Bates-Diop, and that's thanks to Metu's defense. Handoff defense, staying in front of Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant's forced to make the pass out. It's a tough pass because he's off balance. Great defense by Metu, and Watanabe closes out. Shaedon Sharpe's taking a tough shot once again, thanks to Metu. Metu was being guarded by Hayes, comes out on the defensive end, matched up against Hayes, and just stays in front against the smaller guard. I mean, this is the lead guard on the Pistons offense, just stays in front, and yeah, ends up being a pretty tough shot that Ivy ends up knocking down. And Metu staying in front again on Xavier Simpson. That's a tough shot from him. I mean, he can make it. It's Xavier Simpson, but yeah, good defense there. Another one against the Nuggets. Stifles that cut from KCP and closes out. Maybe that was a block. Great defense there against KCP's cut. And again, staying in front right there doesn't allow the KCP drive after Grayson Allen was a touch a bit late. Great elbow nail defense right here. That took a little bit longer than I thought it was to get back to this play, but yeah, just comes up onto the elbow, cuts off the drive, doesn't let that happen, and then he's gonna stay in front on Aaron Gordon. Just great defense right there. Completely just smothers this play outside to Nikola Jokic. This clock is being run down. I mean, half the clock is run down because of Metu. Gets a little reach inside, ends up being a tough shot from Nikola Jokic, which he can knock down because it's Jokic, but yeah, a lot of that defensive play just shut down by Metu. Metu stepping out against Jokic again. Jokic hits it to the corner, and that's a decently tough look. And it's at least thanks to Metu that it was a tougher look because of his defense on the interior. And right here ends up being a 3 at the end of the day, because you gotta get a board, and some good hustle right there by Grayson Allen blocking the shot, keeping it in bounds. Shout out to Grayson Allen. And yeah, Metu also goes inside, gets a pretty good look right there. That should be a finish. Doesn't need to take that shot, but yeah, gets a good look off of the good defense. Another look inside here. We got a pick and roll, or this handoff play that we saw with Drew Eubanks. Does a good job cutting off that roll to DeAndre Jordan. There's no pass there for number 4 to make inside, and yeah, good defense by the two of them on that pick and roll against number 4. Completely loses Jamal Murray. I'm a little bit concerned about Metu's defense. I'm a little bit concerned about his communication, and we're going to see that in these next few clips. I ended up only getting 2 of them, but there was a number of times this happened during the preseason. He's not been great as a communicator. He falls asleep a little bit on defense, and yeah, he just needs to pay attention a little bit more when he's out there for extended minutes. Right here against the Nuggets, Josh Okogie is looking to call for an exchange and a switch on this one, as Okogie goes to bump the cutter and prevent the pass from happening to Aaron Gordon. Metu needs to pick up against AG, but his head is completely turned towards AG. I guess he did not hear the switch, or Kogi didn't properly call it out, or even potentially Vogel's scheme is that Metu has to call this out. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure Kogi would call out switch right here, and Metu misses it. That's not a great sign considering you're in Phoenix in a preseason game that's not going to be very loud, and he's missing these type of calls and ends up just being a wide open 3 because he's not properly communicated. Now he's completely let Murray go, and yeah, it's a wide open 3. Murray doesn't end up knocking it down, but I mean, he got bailed out right there. And again, we're going to see it. He really does need to step it up a little bit more on the defensive end. Right here, he didn't properly communicate with Josh Okogie about who's picking up with Aaron Gordon, and now Justin Holiday is wide open for 3. Once again, gets bailed out by a very, very tough shot by Justin Holiday right there. But right here, I mean, Josh Okogie, I am pretty confident he would have called out who he's guarding right here. And Chimezie Metu has to realize what's going on, has to realize that you got to pick up against Justin Holiday. He should have turned his head and seen that Holiday was out here, and he's got JR right there, and just does not. Ends up being a wide open 3 from Justin Holiday. So I'm a little bit worried about those types of plays, but we'll see if that improves during the regular season. Anyways, finishing off, just looking at some of the hustle highlights from Metu. I mean, again, we got a third player that we're looking at of the Suns who is just really nice hustle guy out there chasing offensive boards and just making these types of little hustle plays that are great to see out of, you know, contributing NBA players. This ball gets deflected. Metu takes it, showing off the handle, get into the rim, doesn't quite get the bucket, but Yuta has a really good chance on the follow because of the hustle by Yuta. Yuta crashing the boards, gets the offensive board. You got to box him out, and that turns into a little bit of a broken play. Ends up going right back to Metu, and that's just a tough shot. I would not really trust him with that shot during the regular season, but good hustle on the O board. Again on the O board, ends up catching the air ball by Jusuf Nurkic and gives the Suns a second opportunity after just the terrible miss by Nurkic. Feeds Nurkic, and this ends up being a foul on Jokic. So great job right there by Metu, providing the extra opportunity for Nurkic to redeem himself. And another one, Metu, and they're fighting for the boards against DeAndre, and we know him. And Metu just takes it away from him. And just, you know, even though they might have pretty similar facial hair, Metu ends up winning this one against the max contract center. And yeah, gets it out for a nice shot for 3 to Nasir Little, who ends up knocking it down. Another assist for Metu, and a great offensive board by that guy. Taking a look at his stats, last season he didn't play a lot. He ended up starting, he ended up playing 66 games, averaged 5 points. Once again, it's the same night. I didn't end up changing this. 5 points, 3 rebounds, and I think this is 0.6 assists. In the previous season, he played a little bit more minutes. Last season, he averaged 10.4 minutes. The season before that, he ended up starting 20 games out of the 60 he played. 21.3 minutes per game, 9 points, 5.6 rebounds, 1.0 assists, and 0.5 steals, and 0.5 blocks and 0.9 steals per game. And that season, he shot 3 threes per game at a 30.6% clip. Hopefully that number goes up by quite a bit. And looking at his preseason stats in just a few seconds. This is a little bit of a long clip. He had 14 points in that first game against the Pistons. In the 5 games during the preseason, he ended up averaging just over 8 points, and he had 3 blocks and 3 steals between those 5 games, 5 assists as well, so an assist per game. Ended up averaging around 4 rebounds per game, and ended up shooting 8 of 17 from 3, as we've previously mentioned, for a 47% from 3 clip. He ended up shooting 7 from 8 from the free throw line at an 87.5% mark from free throw, and averaged a rate around, 17 minutes per game. 17 minutes per game. And those are pretty good numbers from Chimezie Metu. I'm excited to see what type of contribution he makes for the team. Ended up playing in every one of the Suns preseason games and playing in the rotation in all of them. So it will be interesting to see how he fits in with the rest of the roster. But I think he's got a lot of potential to keep playing a whole lot because I mean, that three-point shooting ability looks really good. That jump shot just looks amazing, and I expect to see a whole lot of shots out of him during the season. I guess like we can just let these threes play in the background as I close out this video, just taking another look at just the great three-point shooting of this man, Metu. Shout out to him for improving his jump shot. He showed those signs early during the Eurobasket play, and yeah, I mean, it's encouraging to see him knock him down during the preseason. Have high hopes for him doing that during the regular season. Three-point shooting, the defensive ability, the overall offensive ability, that handle improving, being able to push it up the floor. I mean, Metu's checking almost all the boxes at you would want out of a stretch five, a modern stretch five in the NBA. And the fact that the Suns were able to pick him up on a minimum contract, just like Drew Eubanks and just like some of these other extremely talented players, is so impressive. So shout out to Mr. James Jones for constructing this roster, because Metu looks like yet another potential steal on this roster. We'll see how he ends up proving it, you know, if he continues to play well during the regular season, how he actually fits into the rotation, because a lot of people consider him the 11th man on this roster. But I mean, that three-point shooting just looks too good for him to be simply an 11th man. I mean, he's going to find a way to carve out minutes, especially with injuries. And he's going to start a bunch of games. He's going to play a lot of minutes this season, and very likely has a chance of being a playoff contributor. So once again, credit to James Jones and credit to Chimezie Metu for just improving as a player. And yeah, I mean, should be fun this season. And yeah, if you guys haven't already subscribed, maybe scroll down and hit that button so you can stick around and see even more of my content as we get into the regular season, starting off tonight, I believe, when I release this video. And yeah, I mean, should be a great year. I'm gonna have a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys do too. If you haven't liked the video already and you made it all the way to the end, go down and hit the button, please. I mean, you made it to the end, you probably enjoyed it. So yeah, that's about it. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.